Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai Ba'asham, Harachakodash, the born and strength of the apostles, and elders that agree most on who well, and have taught us is 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopeful. He let out the Bishnach, this word of all truth and sincerity to you, Achim Adu Shalom. I'm Ron coming with a quick lesson going into Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, verse 1, and it doth read, a good name is better than precious ointment, and a day of death than the day of one's birth. Now for that first clause, or that first statement before the semicolon, reads a good name is better than precious ointment. And, reading that, name. Well, I know in Hebrew that word name translates to Sham, S-H-A-M. Whereas Shem would be the anglicized version of it. But then again, he does go further as to more the pronunciation, even more calling it Sem, like Semitic, which he then mars it even more, talking about it's a linguistic thing to say Semitic. When really the definition of, Sham is just name. But I'm gonna pull out the lexicon, and it's just Strong's, and yeah, that's what Sham is, that's the name of our forefather, Shem. So we being Shemites, we're Shemitic, Shemitic. Anyways, Strong's H8034, Sham. Outline biblical usage, and I'm in the blue letter right here. It states I, name, and there are 4 definitions within that. Name, reputation, fame, glory, the name as designation of God, memorial, monument. Strong's definition, an appellation, or shame, a primitive word, perhaps rather from Strong's H7760, to the idea of definite and conspicuous position. Compare Strong's H8064. An appellation. Appellation is another word for name. And it's imperative for us to break down these, big words as the apostles, and elders, and men on down, what's it called? Proclaim, we gotta break down the words. Or else you're speaking to the, goddamn wind. And it reads as a mark or memorial of individuality. By implication, honor, authority, character. Renown, report. So you get a gist of it. It basically means, reputation. Right? Reputation means the beliefs or opinions that are generally held about someone or something, right? And what's it called? What comes to mind is that Jake being ghetto is how we become a byword and astonishment, and it's been that way for throughout history as well. Yeah, King David, he what's it called? Mourned about that. He was grieved that we were a byword and astonishment. But Jake just keep going off. You got what's it called? Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B talking about there's some whores and this. I don't know. That's freaking wickedness. I remember when that song for that official video. That song first came out. You had the men of the Lord, they was doing rebuke lessons on that crap, man. That was stupid. So yeah, now what's it called? What people think about, so-called black man or so-called Mexican, they think about some, gritty, grimy freaking, chumps. You can't trust them. No, I can't even trust them. What's it called? I can't even trust them. Hey, so a bad name, that's a terrible thing. A bad reputation, that's a terrible thing to have. And here it is, we're supposed to be a wise and understanding people. That was in Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. And it doth read, verse 5, Behold, this is the Lord speaking, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me. When I was like it was Moses, speaking on behalf of Yahweh, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land where you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them. That is a command unto me and the rest of you. Right? It's command ASL, right? Command verse of this. Something like that, right? And then all. Even as the Lord my God commanded me that you should do so in the land whether you would possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely, this great nation is a wise and understanding people. We ain't no great nation unto them. Jake ain't doing this, Jake ain't keeping the prayers and the righteous acts. Yeah, motherfuckers every time I was like, oh yeah, I'm Christian. Proceed to freaking eat a pork chop. Oh, I want chitlins. They break down the scriptures the incorrect mother effing way, dude. Like they be talking about, Jesus, did away with the law. Where does it say that? Where? Listen, dude, we've been reading these scripts for freaking years, but front to back, I ain't never heard no freaking priest talking about some Jesus did away with the law. He did the sacrificial law. He became that great sacrifice. And ain't no God that what's it called? All laws are done away with bull crap. Jake excused himself as such to keep on going off. And therefore, they aren't children. I'm the children of God. You got mofo. Yeah, OnlyFans. You got OnlyFans chicks. What's it called? Talking about I'm a child of God. You ain't no child. You a goddamn demon. What's it called? What's it called? A demon of Satan. A demon of Esau. You Esau's little demon. You Esau's little demon. Esau's little helper. Santa's little helper. Esau's little helper. You hear what's it called? Hey, Esau's the border of wickedness, but so when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases. Yeah, well, you influence the minds of Jake first and foremost, Steve, being the wicked vessel. She's helping y'all. What's it called? Increase transgression. Now this whole earth is polluted, but the only solution to earth's pollution is that goddamn fire. And ICBM. It ain't no goddamn ICBM. No, God bless ICBM. Lord, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be upon that thing. That was in the middle of the second chapter. Talking about he's going to be kind of those little Anyways, they don't abide by the law. Here it is. What's it called? There's some whores and there's how you're walking around. What's it called? Like skanks, practically freaking naked and whatnot. Talk about them doing some just lascivious acts in public. So this country is a goddamn hypersexualized freaking place. This place freaking sucks. You gotta kablam on this place. Kablam.
Oh yeah, what's it called? Smoking is healthy. Yeah, what's it called? God created all the herbs. God created all the plants.
Yeah, what's it called? Same thing as mushrooms. I ain't saying this because you're supposed to eat all those, mushrooms. Like, what's it called? Those fancy looking, shiny, colorful mushrooms, like the red ones with white spots. You don't touch those. There are specific mushrooms which are edible to eat and not be under the effects. Hey, because if you get any what's it called psychedelic effect, that's freaking poison. You're poisoning your goddamn. What's it called? I thought the scripts had defiled out the temple. Destroy now. What's it called? 1 Corinthians 3rd chapter, verse 17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God, aka the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, destroy. Point blank period. What translation are you reading? What translation? the King James version, dude, that's the most what's it called, authentic version. It is closest to the original translation. If you read the English Standard Version or so-called Revised Version, blah blah blah, paraphrase whatever the, you're just not getting the complete understanding, because as it is written in the prologue of Sirach, the things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another motherfucking tongue have not the same force in them. So therefore, it is as though you're not even getting the complete understanding. And that's why the apostles know this breakdown. They can't stress it out enough. There are certain precepts which just fit better in its original tongue, whether it be the Greek or the Hebrew, dude. They talk about new heavens to where they think it's a freaking new planet. We ain't dipping on no freaking new planet, but we sting on this same crap. Because Ecclesiastes 1, I think it was 3 or 4 times. What's it called? One generation passeth, another cometh, but the earth abideth from mother flipping everything. The only thing that the scriptures talk about this earth with destruction is it shall go to a flow like a drunkard. Now it's gonna go freaking explode and dissolve. No. The elements, yeah, they're gonna be dissolved, but on the surface. And you're gonna have craters obviously and things like that, because geographically they do alter landmass, and many can have speculated that too. So just like how with the flood it broke up the foundation, so therefore we had new land masses, no more Pangea. Well, same thing with the ICBMs. You have to realize you got earthquakes with tectonic plates. I'll be teaching that mountains be freaking forming from tectonic plates upon crushing each other, something like that. So right? So, for example, during an earthquake, how much more with the missiles that shall artificially create a freaking bigger earthquake across the freaking Earth, all over the globe. Obviously, new land masses, and Esau's been talking about New Zealandia, a new continent that's submerged, and Akim even done lessons on that, talking about a new landmass for the kingdom. Yes, it is preparation for the kingdom, I believe so. Just imagine you got like 200 million missiles put in this place. Here's a missile. And then landmass, is lifted up, and this is the water now. So instead of being submerged, it lifts up. And it's just in its most literal sense, physics, right? It's the most realistic scenario. That's my train of thought. Right, anytime what's it called, Earth going kablamo, it ain't going ta-ta, Hey, this Earth took several thousand years to create, Born ain't just gonna do it away like that. What's it called, really when you look at that word new, and for example, 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, where it talks about that, it really means refurbished, renewed, right? Like say this for example, this book, it gets dusty, it gets grimy, a lot of touching, a lot of finger traffic, where you get like a wipe and you start cleaning it. Now it's brand new out of that practically, so refurbished, renewed. Same thing with the console, you don't want to buy you may not want to, if you're, obviously financial constraints or anything, you may not want to, and you want to buy a console, but you don't want to buy something expensive, like new, like really expensive. You get a refurbished one, which is cheaper. Though it would be wiser to get the new one because you don't know how the previous owner handled their device. But it's an example. Refurbished is something people do, right? So it's imperative to know the actual meanings of words and not just take it, just look at it and it means new planet. New planet. You gotta look into the words. And that's the thing, right? There may not be a direct equivalent in one language as there is in another language. So, for example, there are certain statements which include certain words which doesn't flow properly in Spanish, and it could be like an English statement, like idioms, like English idioms, for example, right? They don't sound well in Spanish, vice versa, and with the various other languages. I digress. So, Mac, you can't go see how be smoking no weed, psychedelics or anything like that. That's freaking poison. All right, First Corinthians, the third chapter. First Corinthians, the third chapter, verse 17. If any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him, what temple? This body's a temple, right? Him shall Yahweh destroy, and that's point blank period, right? It's not metaphorical; it truly is literal. Yeah, people are here talking about, oh no, what's it called? It's too far out there. No, it must become. My God is a only goody two shoes. He what's it called? Begs for everybody to repent. Oh my God, what's it called? He doesn't do evil. Only Satan does that, and he's rebels against the Most High. What's it called? He doesn't destroy. Kill. Let me tell you something about the Most High is that that picture you painted of him doesn't do him justice. As a matter of fact, it's basically demeaning. You basically demean the Lord. The Lord's supposed to be Most High, powerful, great power. You don't want. What's it called? I was watching a quick, short from one of the Akim, and they talk about, you don't want no smoking. I don't want no smoking the Most High. I don't know. What's it called? You think I want to smoke with what's it called? This individual here. Let me pull it out. You think I want to smoke with him? Oh hell no! Oh hell no! What? You think I want to smoke with the Son, the express image of the Heavenly Father, of the Ancient of Days? Hell no! Oh hell no! You don't want to smoke with Yahweh? Yahweh Shai. Oh hell no! Oh hell no! Anyways, for the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple you are. Right. So. Let no man deceive himself, many men among you seemeth to be wise in this world. Let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yahweh, for it is written, he taketh the wise man with craftiness. Right? He doesn't confound the wise. And again, what's it called? You got Esau here trying to, what's it called, to lose the card of, he moves in mysteries as a freaking fallacy. Hey, no goddamn fallacy. Again, it's just there to confound the wise. Right? He taketh the wise man with craftiness. Yeah, people are telling us something. Oh yeah, God created weed. We can smoke weed. What happens to your lungs? Oh yeah, I can vape. I'll stop whenever I want. I'm a child of God. It's called stupidity. Stupidity is an actual thing. The other Makama always brings it out. The movie Idiocracy. We live in it. You go on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and you have these little, interviews, street interviews, where the reporter, is basically asking some NPC down the street, what is the capital of the UK, whatever, the Netherlands. Where is Antarctica? Oh, I think it's in Canada. Yeah, I think, my grandma was telling me about that. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go up to Canada to the freaking, what? Oh, what's it called? There's this one with this Silent Kingdom Eve. She was being interviewed, and I think the interviewer was all like, I forget what he said. He mentioned a capital or something like that, and then the Eve was all like, Japanese. That's a freaking language. That's not. He's asking for a geographical location. These people are straight brain rotted, dude. Brain rot is a freaking plague, dude. It's brought to you by the sleazy dude. Yeah, what's it called? He has my brain's up. What's it called? Yeah, people just don't. Yeah, new generations, they can't read or write anymore. Right? And see, the way Esau does that is that he be doing it subtly, right? The no child left behind thing, which that really ruins the people, because instead of taking more time to reflect and improve themselves, kids just get past no matter what, and they never improve. Hey, but this we just advocate for sharpening each other, right? What's it called? Honoring this. Right, that was the book of Proverbs 27th chapter, verse 17. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. These people ain't being sharpened, and if you try and correct them, they get butthurt. Would you get butthurt, so be it. What's it called? Forsaking it goes into reproving not fool in the scriptures. Proverbs 9:8, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, he will love thee. Right. So give instruction to a wise man, he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. But to the fool that don't want it, so be. If you don't want it, then it's alright. You can, live a life of, folly. And there's plenty of Israelites like that. They really don't care. And they think it's too weird to be smart, whatever. But they were given the ability of metacognition. That breath of life, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which distinguishes us, differentiates us from the ordinary beast. Because we're all like, we're all creatures. We're attributed to a creature. What's it called? In Esau's science, we're known as animals, right? And that supposedly we descend from primates, hominids and whatnot, and we're known as smart apes, basically. And apparently, we share a last common ancestor with chimpanzees around 8 to 60 million years ago, or some bull crap like that. Some bull crap, which there is a little bit of truth to it, and that is that we're creatures, we're animals. It's like, hey, but we're the supreme species on Earth, And people don't, take advantage of it. Elephants do, animals, they do. You got elephants out here drawing, they out here painting. That's the Yahweh thing. So God Allah Yahweh Ba'asham. Yahweh shy for that beautiful thing. Beautiful aspect, because I like elephants, It'll be nice to see an elephant, paint elephants. What's it called? Isn't there a famous elephant that paints? Suda, a female elephant at the Mae Tang Elephant Park and Clinic in Thailand, is one of the most famous painting elephants, known for creating detailed paintings of trees, flowers, and even self-portraits. Her work, which often depicts recognizable subjects rather than abstract shapes, has gained international attention with her paintings sold online to support the park's veterinary clinic. And here's an example of what Suda painted. This is what Suda did. The power of Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, dude. Hey man, what's it called? Animals, what's it called? Get talents, humans don't. Where are y'all talents at? What's it called? I lost my train of thought. Right, so what's it going to? I forget what pieces was it going to. I'm gonna just quickly backtrack. Right, so wisdom. Yeah, going back to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, verse 6. If you abide by this law, by the wisdom found in this here book, right, the commands, you're gonna be seen differently, in a different light, and the kingdom will, because as it is written, the law should be written in our inward parts. That was Jeremiah, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, Jeremiah 31 to 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, say the Lord Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. How about that? And so for Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, they're gonna get burned up in the thermonuclear fire. No one's gonna take them if this scenario does play out where apparently they do happen to see a man of the Lord and encounter the man of the Lord. The Lord's not gonna because obviously I can make the mention that the Lord's gonna put the spirit on you to discern who to take and who not. The Lord's gonna not put the spirit upon the men of the Lord to take one of those hoes. What's it called? I'll put my law. So yeah, they're gonna get burned up here and then come back righteously in the spiritual body. So yeah, my laws will be put in their inner parts, and that's gonna go off the land regardless. Right? Time after what's it called? Lose Micah the 4th chapter. For sure, guys, in the 2nd chapter, right? own bookshelf with me. No, it was Micah. Micah, what chapter? Micah, the 4th chapter. Verse 2. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, into the house and power of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways. Yeah, because what's it called? These are divine. This is divine order from on high, from the Most High. Hey, Psalms 147, the 7th chapter, 147, it talks about how he showed this, he gave the statutes and a certain Jacob, right? I don't pull that out. It reads in verse 19, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise to the Lord. So right now they're outside of that covenant, but in the kingdom they will have to keep it. It will be the law of the land, right? So going back to verse 2, Micah, the 4th chapter, and he will teach us of his ways, and will walk in his paths, for the law shall go forth out of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Right. So it will come. The law will be, what's it called? Instituted through us, the mediators, right? What's it called? The children of the Most High, the saints, right? What's it called? The spiritual offsprings, if you will, of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? What's it called? Joint heirs of Mashiach, right? Hey, blessed of the Lord Yahweh, right? Blessed is he. That's how it starts off in the book of Psalms 1, correct? Let me pull it out. Yeah, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he should be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in the season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall not prosper. And going back to the promises in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, we're gonna look good. We're gonna look good. Hey, what's it called? No more are we gonna till the ground for somebody else. No, what's it called? Hell, we're not even gonna till ourselves. We're gonna have slaves tilling for us. Hey, what's it called? You get back to work. Hey, you pick up my cotton. Hey, pick up my freaking squashes. Hey, pick up those pumpkins. I want some pumpkin pie. And then you're like, all right, yes, master. Yes, Israelite Lord. Yes, my God. Yes, my God. Because we're gods. We'll be true gods. My tribute will be, their tribute unto me will be 100 pumpkin pies. Pumpkin pies. Those are bomb. Have you tasted pumpkin pie? I'm pretty sure it sounds delicious. I have, pumpkin pie. I'm not really a fan of apple pie. Yeah. Well, you know what pie I actually want to eat though? Shepherd's pie. Or cottage pie, shepherd's pie, cottage pie. I'll try them all. Chicken pot pie, cottage pie, shepherd's pie, mostly shepherd's pie. Why? Because Yahweh Shai. Hey, look, in the kingdom. One of my desires is to be able to eat shepherd's pie with the shepherd himself. Imagine eating shepherd's pie with Yahweh Shai, the shepherd. Oh my God, I'll be geeking out. Oh man, I always think about that. I'm like, damn, that'll be next time I eat with Yahweh Shai. The second in command. How cool is that? What? How cool is that? What's it called? You don't know what cottage pie is? I gotta put you on the ground and cottage pie or shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie. Yeah, the difference between shepherd's pie and cottage pie is that shepherd's pie is made with lamb, whereas cottage pie is made with beef. Either way, still the same thing. There's different meats. Okay, look at this. Ooh, man. Ooh, kingdom. Our rest is the kingdom. You know, that's delicacy for a perfect getaway, a perfect, eternal, everlasting, long time, forever, you know, whatever, you know, immortal freaking vacation, rest. You know, that's well deserved for people like us. Like, oh my God, like, what's it called? Meat filling, ground lamb. It's traditional for shepherd's pie, while ground beef is used for cottage pie. Though the terms are often used interchangeably, the meat is cooked with onions, vegetables like carrots, peas, and corn, and a savory gravy or sauce, and mashed potato toppings. What's it called? And so on. What's it called? You know, digress back. Yeah, but hey, we're gonna look good. You know, we're gonna eat good. We're gonna look good in the kingdom. You know. Hell yeah. That's the cookies and rainbows we be talking about. Ain't no cupcakes and rainbows for Babylon or for the wicked. No. The only cupcakes and rainbows is with the nation of Israel, and it's gonna start off in the land when we you know get dropped over there after the destruction. You know. Yeah. Anyways, Deuteronomy the 4th chapter, verse 7. For what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day, which is like, you know, like thousands of years ago at this point. That's ancient world stuff. Ancient world accounts. This is ancient world stuff. Hey, as it is written, seek ye after the old paths. So I'm all for the ancient stuff, dude. I'm a freaking history major anyways. You know. Let's get pop. We can go back to the old ways. But better. But godlier, dude. The ultimate comeback. This ain't our prime. You know, you think your prime is when you're like, oh, it's tough, you know, what's it called? The best, like, you know, turn focus, right? It's courageous. You know, yeah, that's good too, you know. But your true prime, and I tell myself this first and foremost because I'm bitter as hell. I try not to be bitter. But your true God, no, your God blessed prime, the kingdom. As it is written, a day in thy course is better than 1,000 of our best days here on earth. So like, you have to read like 1,000 days is like roughly 3 freaking years on this earth. So just imagine 3 years worth of good days. And it's completely defeated by just one single day in the kingdom. That's how what happens if you're defeated. You know, I hope I have a dream of the kingdom. I never had a dream of the kingdom. No, I have. Damn. It was like an old dream. It was like a weird dream. We were likening the ants, you know. Yeah, so in the dream, I might as well answer this actually. In the dream, I forget, it was like an old dream when I was a newcomer, like early in this thing. And I think I saw Yahweh Shai as themselves. If not, they were portrayed as you know, big businessmen, like suits and whatnot. You know, just like, you know, the established stable men. And they were in front of a golden gate, and behind that gate there was like beautiful land. And then all of us were on the other side of the gate. So on the other side of the gate, it's all beautiful. You know, that's represents the kingdom. On this side, however, it's like the front gate, and you have the 2 men right there in front of us, and we're all ants. I was literally an ant, a little insect. We're like in the insects. We're like in the worms. Actually, I'll pull it out. You know, that worm Jacob. What's it called? Isaiah 41:14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, say the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of what? Israel. What's it called? Like, oh God. I'm so excited. What's it called? Yeah, we were ants, and then, you know, I think they snapped. I don't want to be, what's it called? You know, confusing my. I know. After a long time, you look back on a certain memory, it becomes fragmented, and then it becomes like a false memory, right? Because then you sort of believe, you know, whatever you add on to it. So I'm gonna keep my peace. I'm gonna add on to it, you know, in case. I think I recall a snap. I don't know, but the point is, all of us ants, we are transformed into men, powerful God, you know, God-like men, and there was like a cloud. So you know, like in those old cartoons, you have people fighting. Yeah, what's it called? A tail pops right here, a pop pops right there. You know, a tooth falls out over here. You know, and it's like a big dust cloud, so you can't see what's going on. That's how it looked like. So we were ants in like a big dust cloud, and then we turned them in, and then the gates were open. We walked in. It was so glamorous. The kingdom was being built up. I was in my palace. I had wives in my palace. We were at the top, tippity top of the floor, but it was like scaffolding. It was like still, you know, empty, like an empty canvas. It wasn't, you know, fully built yet. It was being built at that moment, and I had wives now, and I remember turning around, and there's that big freaking view. It's a patio, and no, not patio. It's a freaking balcony. I walk out the back of the balcony, and I see other houses being built. What the You know what that reminds me of, actually? It's called Second Ezra, the 7th chapter. It's like Second Ezra, the 7th chapter. Okay, anyways, enough goofiness. Verse 6, there's also another, Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, verse 6, there's also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and it is full of all mother flipping good things, dude. Good, G-O-O-D. What does good even mean? Let's go to freaking Google. Good definition. To be desired or approved of. Seek the Lord. Delight thyself in the Lord, and he shall give thee thy desires. So good means to be desired or approved of, having the qualities required for a particular role. What role? The role of being perfect, beautiful, an Idon in Eden. Eden meaning Idon in the Hebrew, which means a paradise of man. Like seriously, a rest, a freaking rest. The particular role of rest. Well, you goddamn need good qualities, dude. You know, you're gonna need what's it called? Clean water treatment, clean air. You know, no freaking litter. You know, hey, we're not gonna allow you to litter. You know, we're gonna do proper waste. You know, treatment facilities and whatnot. And we're not going back to the archaic, bronze, or Iron Age stuff. No, we have advanced technology. You know, we're gonna use advanced technology. More advanced than this freaking laptop. This laptop is flimsy. This thing breaks easily. We don't know how. We can't fathom the spiritual technology. But hey, we see the chariots. That's spiritual technology. But those are angels themselves. Like, what the heck? So if we're gonna have more advanced technology, you can't even fathom it, and it's gonna help us out a lot to be able to what's it called? Run a settlement better. A city better. Like, god damn. Anyways. Yeah, how about you know about the kingdom comes soon because I'm tired of this place. Screw this place. Screw this earth. Screw the current face of the earth. Yeah, screw this earth. Hell no, I'm waiting for this planet to be called Night Dawn. You see Rick and Morty. You had Rick roast. I think it was season 2, episode 10, the Wedding Squanchers. He roasted the hell out of the planet Earth. I'm like, F Earth. You do realize Earth means dirt, right? This is like a blessing in disguise. Now, who wants to get ready for shopping with a brand? Who wants to go shopping for a brand new flipping world? And so they were, in forbidden context, they were looking for a new place to inhabit. After the Galactic Federation was searching for Rick Sanchez because he's a fugitive enemy of the galaxy. I digress, however. Lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Right. I can't wait for this Earth to be referred to as an Idon. Oh, welcome to this paradise. Welcome to paradise. Welcome to me humble. No, we're not gonna say humble abode. No, the kingdom we finna be dripped out, blinged out. What's it called? Dripped out, decked out. Having the finest of everything. Having the motherfucking finest of everything. Hey, welcome to my awesome home. Welcome to my awesome. What is awesome to me? extremely impressive or daunting, inspiring great admiration, apprehension, or fear. Extremely good, excellent. Hey, what's it called? For eye nor ear hath heard or seen what the Lord hath prepared for them that wait upon him. Also, as it is written, we have only seen a few of the Lord's works. We're finna probably have like flying stingray. I want to see a flying stingray. Dinosaurs are gonna come back, dude. I want a freaking I want a T-Rex. I want a freaking saber tooth. We finna have everything, dude. Every planet finna be a zoo. You ever play one of those? What's it called? Like garden games, like where like it's like you create your own little estate, if you will. You finna create a whole planet. Who wants to create a planet? I finna create a planet, Goddamn. I'm gonna create a planet and like 20 moons, and on one of those moons, that'll be my home. I'm gonna have a pass right there. You got habitable moons. That Esau found out about that. Oh, that's even in Avatar. Pandora is actually on the moon, if I'm mistaken. So, yeah, that's gonna be glamorous. Dude. Oh, you can't even imagine. We have only seen a few of the Lord's works. Goddamn. Anyways, I digress back. There's also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad hill, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in the dangerous place of fall, like as if more fire on the right hand, on the left, deep water. So basically, narrow is that straight gate, to roughly paraphrase, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. You have like what's it called, like focus, metaphorically, you can't just walk around all loose. You follow what's it called? That's metaphorical for enduring to the end, right? Keep on rehearsing righteous acts, right? Being patient, because even patience is a thing that many men find difficult with, right? But that's why it was written in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Wait for it. And that took me a water master. Now I'm good with my waiting. But just because I'm able to wait doesn't mean that I can't express my freaking, my sorrow. Oh man, I can't wait. Right? Or you may say that next time, oh man, I can't wait. Right? But we literally could, we have to, we're forced to anyways. Yeah, dude. We just gotta keep on going. And we finna have it. And there are things we can do to, as I've been taught, to be able to cope, if you will. What's it called? I know one of those things, just fantasizing. We're not, too deep out there, but just setting your vision on things above. So just like how I can be meditating terror, like scenarios in your head, the same thing about the kingdom. Like, I'll be imagining myself hanging out with the Akim, drinking wine. And there's one thing I want to do besides wanting to eat shepherd's pie with Yahushai. It's I want an underwater city built. It's gonna be nice. Oh yeah, I've also thought about another thing I frequently think about is me with my cats and my beloved female cat. I could just imagine me and her in the middle of a elegant, empty, humongous ballroom, which is a part of my palace, and like this, while the heathen play music, jazz music, and it's just me and my cat. That's the kingdom for you. That's gonna happen. That's one of the Akim. What's it called? Do you believe? You may get do you believe the Lord may how scenarios play out? And I was like, hell yeah. I was saying thing, hell yeah. this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? But you can't, where's my hat? I had a hat here I bought from, back in my athletic gym phase. Which, working out, still good nonetheless. I'm trying to get back into it. But back in my athletic days, I bought a gym hat by Gym Reapers, a little known underground brand. They got a decent following in their social media crap. But it was a hat, and on the side of it, it basically said, everything earned, nothing given. Totally paraphrase. Yeah, that could be more true. That could not be more true. If you shall never pass the danger set before it, I will show you receive this inheritance. You can't. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said the enemy, even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the wool, then when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of their soul made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder, if it were easy, there wouldn't be 2/3 being destroyed, and there wouldn't be just another life, and it would be the whole nation being delivered. But because it is not so, that's not how the Lord ordained it. It is full of sorrow. It is painful that many people cannot bear it. Well, for the entrance of the elder world were wide and short and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live, labor not to enter these streets and vain things, they cannot never receive those things that are laid up for them. Now therefore, what's it called? They can never receive those things that are laid up for them. So we must labor. Right. Hey, but the point in verse 21, for Yahweh hath given straight commandment to such as came when they should do what they should do, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and not his ways. So just like Esau, hey, Jake played the fool, and as it is written, the fool saith in his heart, there is no God. You got a lot of Jake that are atheists, especially nowadays, more so. Oh, what's it called? If the God is real, then why did my grandma die? Obviously, what's it called? There's just something called, age. Which with age in this body, it's like something when I was. You deteriorate, your body deteriorates you right away, your spirit gives up the ghost. Or you give up the ghost, your spirit goes up the spirit realm into a better body, you get a body up there anyways. I think I recall the Apostle Peter going into that time out, what's it called, he was going to celestial tabernacle soon. Tabernacle meaning home, habitation. This is a tabernacle, this is a temple, this is a body, right? A home, clothing, if you will. What's it called? This is basically organic, an organic suit. I digress. But his laws have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. Man. But his laws have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And that's what's waggy taggy Christians, they be tired about how the law's been away with. The law ain't done away with, but what's it called? It literally it stays right here. Again, third time's a charm, right? Third time's a charm. And his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. Statute means a written law passed by a legislative body. So written laws, which confined this book, they have not kept them. They have not been faithful as to keep them. And that's why, what's it called? I remember it was the other man, not the Lakba, I think it was around the, he set up something along the lines, really paraphrasing here. If you truly believe in something, you'll keep that. Let me rephrase. If you truly believe in something, you're gonna do that something. and this is a paraphrase of what he said, and that's true. If you truly have faith, you're gonna keep the works. And there's no wonder as to why the Apostle Peter was so adamant on the clarification of I will show you my faith by my works. Instead of just, oh yeah, I believe by faith. Oh yeah, I'm saved because I believe in Jesus Christ. Oh, hey, let's go to church. 2 hours later. Oh, you wanna go on an orgy? Yeah, Mofo was like, what? That's how outrageous mofos be. They really be outrageous and whatnot. What the hickory dickory doc? What principles say that right now? Yeah, that was the book of James. Dude, they be on something, They be on something, bro. I don't want what they got, They could stay that way. You got people talking about, I want what he's got. I don't want what y'all got. I don't want whatever y'all are on to be bugged out your goddamn minds. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm chilling. What's it called? Oh, here's a point. Before I go after me in precept, Caroline on James, the first chapter, might as well get it out. Verse 20. 6. If any man among you is religious means servitude, so what's commanded upon you, this is servitude, the Apostle Paul likened himself into a servant, a slave. The other Apostle Descartes clarified they both mean the same thing, right? They both mean a subordinate, right? Doulos in the Greek. In the English translations, it would be translated to a slave or servant, a servant for Yahweh, or a slave for Yahweh, should I say? Either way, subordinate. That's what we are. So if you're religious, you're a servant. So if any man among you seem to be, a servant and religious, and bridleth not his own tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, and heart goes like the Hebrew word lab, meaning mind. Because you get people talking about, oh, my head says this, my heart says, mofo, the same thing, it's all this head, heart, brain, heart. Right, what's it called? You just unstable in all your ways. I would suggest, you're praying, pray to the Lord to, clear up these confounding bugged out ones. Anyways, this man's religion is vain. So you could proclaim that you're so-called Christian and you love God and whatnot. You could profess that it don't mean jack shite. Anyways, pure religion and undefiled before power of the fathers, this to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction and to keep himself inspired from the world. Anyways, going on. What's it called? Shower with me. No. Now I just switch it over here. I passed it. I did not notice I passed it. Oh yeah, I found it. Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. So if you're truly faithful, you're gonna perform the works. You're gonna rehearse righteous acts. So going back to what it said right here. And his statutes have denied it. It's like in his statutes have they not been faithful. If you're faithful, you're gonna perform it. If you're not faithful, you're not gonna perform it. So you're faithless, really. And have not performed his works. TLDR. And also that the wages of sin is death. And with that being said, we'll talk about the second end of the 15th chapter talks about how write these things for they are faithful and true. But what's it called? I'm just gonna write it down just to quickly prove a point here. Talking about how if you sin, you will get smoked. It does read. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them that trouble thee. That speak against the incredulity means disbelief. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So if you don't believe what's written in the scriptures about keeping the law, even with Yahweh Shai, not being on the scene anymore, and you think that apparently it's been done away with, people get smoked. Right? That's not a threat from me, that's a warning. Or our whole purpose is to freaking warn. Right? Repent ye for therefore the kingdom's at hand. Acts. Right, I'm gonna pull it out. Acts 3 chapter verse 19, repent ye therefore and be converted as in transform your life from this wicked state that you're in, this wicked lifestyle, and conform, absorb, apply yourself to what strength they're in, being renewed, being a new creature, being, just, trying to be righteous. Which, our righteousness are filthy rags, but it's way better than, excusing yourself as a sinner just to continue living in it. You got Moses talking about, Jesus forgives all. He's always merciful. Oh, yeah, what's it called? He sat with sinners. Yeah, he sat with sinners. And then these same motherfuckers proceed to freaking eat chitlins. Like, what? No. When Yahweh Shai in Matthew, the 5th chapter, stated in verse 17, what I do. And he said, think not that I have come to this, think not. What does not mean? It means zilch, not what's it called? That's not what it means. No definition. Used with non-auxiliary. No, I'm not gonna use it again. Nope. Used in understatements to suggest that the opposite of a following word or phrase is true. An adverb used to express negation, denial, refusal, prohibition. So Yahweh Shai strictly prohibited the reader, saying, I prohibit you from thinking I'm here to destroy the law. He's not here to destroy the law. Think not, right? Don't think I'm here to destroy. So think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. You look at that word fulfill, pull it out. Right. Blue letter. Let me pull out the blue letter. Okay. That word, fulfill, goes back to the Greek word Strong's G41:37. Plero, or plero, something like that. Plero. And in the analytical usage, it means to make full, fill up, to cause to abound, to furnish, supply liberally, to render food a complete, to fulfill Christ, when nothing should want it, blah, blah, blah. To consummate a number. Consummate is an example, consummate, make a marriage complete by having intercourse. So, in order to make a, marriage a thing, you have to, the act of you, penetrating the woman, that's consummation. That's what, makes marriage. So, use that same definition of consummate. Well, continuing on, that's one of its definitions, right? But continuing on, to consummate, to make complete in every part, to include, to render perfect, to carry through to the end, to accomplish, carry out. When you carry out, you're fulfilled. Hey, carry out these sets, carry out these what's it called? Carry out these easy bar curls. All right, carry it out. Fulfill it, complete the set. Obviously the weights in this, instance are metaphorical for the law. To carry into effect, bring to realization, realize of matters of duty, to perform or execute authority, execute judgment, execute power, execute the decision. Execute means to act, to perform. Of matters of duty, to perform, execute. Of sayings, promises, prophecies, to bring to pass, ratify, accomplish. To fulfill, i.e. to cause God's will, as made known in the law, to be obeyed as it should be. What's it called? And God's promises given through the prophets to receive fulfillment. So Yahweh Shai strictly prohibited you from saying he is doing it away. No. He's keeping it. He's acting it out. And if Yahweh Shai was sinless, he was the only individual in the flesh to be sinless. what's it called? He kept the law. Shouldn't we strive? Yeah, we should strive to be like him. It was the Apostle Peter who had made the mention how what's it called? Right, he had been in. I'm gonna switch up. Just to quickly. I don't want to. More. Okay. Okay. Yeah, First Peter, the second chapter, 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because much Yah also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Be ye holy as I am holy. And that's the Heavenly Father speaking. Now Yahweh Shai said he came to do the Father's will, so therefore, whatever Yahweh Shai says, whatever Yahweh says, Yahweh Shai would do. So if it's then Yahweh Shai's will to do Yahweh's will, what's it called? His example of doing Yahweh's will should be our goal to strive as Yahweh Shai did. So our what's it called? Our will should be Yahweh's will. That you should follow in his steps. Be holy as I am holy. What's it called? Keep the freaking rehearse. Try and be that good man. Right. So but people don't understand that. They try to say, oh no, he disobeyed the law. Oh, well, you look at Acts the 10th chapter. That's talking about you could eat chitlins, you could eat pork, you could eat what's it called? You could eat oh, is that calamari? I'm not sure what calamari is. What is calamari? I can't remember now. Oh hell no! Squid? You can't even eat squid. None of that crap, dude. None of that crap. Oh yeah, I heard catfish is bomb. Oh yeah. What's it called? I'm Catholic. 5 days later. Oh, let's go out for some seafood. What? Bugged out. Y'all scared out, man. Y'all scared out of your minds. What's it called? Acts the 10th chapter was strictly pertaining to humans. I mean, it was pointed out. It was broken down in Acts the 28th chapter. Acts the 10th chapter verse 28. So Acts the 10th chapter verse 28. Was it 28 or 29? It was 28. And he said unto them, you know that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But Yahweh has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So when it said eat the unclean things, it was talking about believers. What's it called? Israelite foreigners. They grew up as what's it called? Other nations. But really, their spirits go back to the nation of sure Allah. So therefore, it was time out, man. It ain't time out. And this was Cornelius, being a believer. He was a centurion of the Italian band, and he came to meet the Apostle Peter, if I'm correct. It ain't talking about food. Oh yeah, Acts 10 chapter, that's what we could eat. Oh, God bless this food. God bless this food. Yeah, you're praying for freaking pork to be healed. Motherfucker, the side effects pork has. And then you actually bring up the fact that pork has, what's it called? You eat pork, you have like heart problems. Oh, therefore we should pray to God. Oh yes, pray to God. Oh yes, dear Lord, dear God. What? Hell no. And then we get called bigots and freaking. Oh, you guys are bad Christians. Wait, are you the bad Christian or are you the good Christian? Good Christian, when they talk about when they say bad or good Christian, they mean good Christian as what's it called, acceptant and progressive, all these what's it called, iniquities that they've been so culturally conditioned to see as good, and bad. So anything outdated is considered bad. Mofo, it is written, seek ye the old path. I'm flipping out, I'm like, what's it called, exaggerated movement, because I am that. I'm just confounded. I am that. What's that? Perplexed. I'm that freaking perplexed, bro. Perplexity. What's it called? Perplexity. An ability to deal with or understanding something complicated or unaccountable. Yeah, what's it called? These people aren't accountable. They lack accountability. They try and what's it called? Justify themselves under some polite term. Some different mentality you're not even supposed to have. It was literally commanded for us to depart out of the mentality of this place in Revelation 18th chapter, right? Flee out of it. It ain't talking about literally flee. You know, we can't physically flee. That also shows lack of faith. Yeah, we're gonna get beamed up, you know, so we're gonna be, you know, be picked up, not flee ourselves. Now, I guess you could apply it to that said verse to, you know, getting beamed up. You know, you pursue righteous acts. You know, hey, seeking out thy salvation, right? So you keep doing right, Lord, when you really elect and you get beamed up, right? But you know, a little sense people talking about, oh, you gotta flee out. They ain't talking about literally fleeing. No, it's talking about mentality. You know, to separate yourself from, you know, this idea that you can be whatever you want and do whatever you want. You can't be a, you know, you can't be a ugly dude wanting to be a girl and then dressing like a girl. Hell no. Nah, it's just confusing. Hey, most times not the object of confusion as it is written. What's it called? Scratching my foot. My foot. Anyways, right. But to fulfill. Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever shall do and teach them, and we're doing them, we're teaching the commandments, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of God. And that right there circles back and ties back to the main verse, the topic of the lesson. And that was off of the Spirit, you know, just bring out these precepts. And that also goes to show you how no matter whatever book, you know, it is, from whatever, you know, year it was made, you know, it is still under the same, how would I say, collective mentality. It was a collective, the scriptures are collective. So, say for example, Isaiah said one thing, and then I'm saying one thing, and I may not, remember something Isaiah said, but I came up with a certain thought independently, which he had thought about as well. What then? If we're set apart by time, you know, we never met each other, yet we both share the same mentality, the same ideas and thoughts. That's what makes it a collective. That's how you know it's the Spirit. And there's no wonder as to why it's written. These scriptures are divinely inspired, right? Inspired by Yahweh, Shine for our, and what's it called? Correction, approved doctrine, really paraphrase. So it doesn't matter, you know, what precept, or it's like, it doesn't matter if you're using two different precepts from like Genesis and like when, you know, what's they call Second Maccabees. They may coincide, you know. They may coincide because it is a spirit. Yeah, I meant to. What precept was that? Ecclesiastes. I had spaced out for a second. There's a lot. That was the first verse, correct? No. That was a jeez. Nobody's forget. Oh, Ecclesiastes. I'm over here in Proverbs. I'm confusing books. That's not good. Chapter 7, Ecclesiastes, 7 chapter 1. A good name. What was the last verse? Right, shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. That was Matthew the 5th chapter, verse 18. Therefore, Ecclesiastes 7 and 1. A good name is better than precious ointment. Yeah, we striving for a good name. And it will be better than precious ointment. And the day of death and the day of one's birth. All other clauses stands true because better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, as it is written. You know, us being in captivity, we just want this and that, you know, this strict place sucks, bro. But hey, rejoice, for the kingdom is at hand. And Revelation 12 and 12, for the devils come down unto you, having great wrath, for you know they have but a short time. And as it is written, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And what the Yahweh shall I say, some of you shall not taste of death. And when he made that mention, he was referring to this current lifetime, not back then, because obviously all of them passed away. right? So he was talking about the deliverance. You know, we're gonna get changed in the twinkling body. Transcending. Ooh, awesomeness, awesome sauce. What is awesome sauce? I'm searching the Google definition. Okay, definition. Extremely good or excellent, and that's exactly what that prophecy is. It's gonna be awesome. Imagine you have a goblin-looking ugly face, you got moles, pimples, whatever the freaking pimples, and you get changing that body. All of a sudden, you mock. You even have like a nice chiseled face, like perfect symmetrical face. On some like yellow hair from the Spider-Man that causes multiverse movie type shit. You're gonna look like a model. We're all gonna be models. Hey, you had one of the sisters years ago talk about her dream about the kingdom and that all the Israelites, we all looked beautiful no matter what. We all look beautiful. I'm gonna look stunning. We're all gonna look stunning. Big, nice, luscious, pure, perfect everything. Bravo, 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 bravo. Man, I'm excited. Man, I'm getting angsty here. I'm getting too energized. I'm getting too energized here. Right. The precept that really stood out to me the most upon reading that would be the book of Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. Everybody always uses that verse. I'm gonna use it again. You finna use it again. And the other positive part always talks about being a broken record. Broken record. What's it called? You got a vinyl record. What do you call it? It's broken. Or like a CD player, scratched up. It play the same part over and over again. Like the Colion, Fettuccine, Capone, Romeo. You keep on repeating the same thing, right? So we're gonna repeat the same things over and 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 over again. God damn, I'm excited, man. I'm energized. I don't know why. No, I know why. Because this is encouraging. Anyway, so I'm gonna get us back. Zephaniah real quick. Second one. Zephaniah. Oh, so it's after that, correct? Yeah. Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, verse 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Praise and fame, a reputation. We're gonna be a great people. Everybody in the kingdom, they finna know who the men of the Lord are. Just like how everybody be talking about Michael Jackson. Back when it wasn't the scene, everybody wanted to have Michael Jackson. Oh, Michael Jackson, I love you. I think I've spoken about how all your current, famous people, your favorite celebrities, everybody glaze. They finna be nobodies in the kingdom. Even Michael Jackson, he finna be a nobody. But you know who will be the true somebodies? The prophets. Sirach, the 44th chapter, verse 1. Let us now praise famous men. The elder apostle Tahar, the elder apostle Gabar, the elder apostle Rama, the elder apostle Racha. The high priest, what they call the bishops, the elders, the great men on down. The men of counted of in the scriptures, man. In these here books. Remember, shout out stuff. We finna shout y'all out. What's it called? Genesis, what comes to mind? Our forefather Yaquab, right? Who reincarnated as King David, and then later as King Masha, who was recently on the scene, but now is in the spirit world. The beloved King Masha, right? The late beloved King Masha. What's it called? The patriarchs, like Joseph. Joseph was a goodly individual. He became ruler of Egypt. The only thing that distinguished him from the Pharaoh was basically the title, the position of power. But basically, he was basically the ruler of Egypt at that point. Exodus. What's it called? Our forefather David. His previous incarnation was as Moses, Masha, right? Masha, back in the Exodus. Joshua. Judges, Jephthah, right? Gideon, what's it called? Samson, so on and so forth. Barak, the prophet Samuel, David as himself, King Solomon, who was the previous incarnation of Yahushua, a goodly king, right? Ezra, Nehemiah, I reckon Job, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Baggage, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, the disciples. And even in the Acts, you also have what's called prophets accounted for, right? Meaning Malachi was not the last prophet, and people that think that are really ignorant of the scriptures and they're dumb and they're stupid. What's it called? The Apostle Paul, disciple Timothy. Disciple Timothy has been Apostle James, Apostle Peter, Apostle John, Apostle Jude. Right, not Jude Iscariot, but just the Apostle Jude. From the book of Jude, and so on and so forth. Nathan the prophet, right? Gad the seer. And the current prophets and the saints to this day at Great Millstone. And as the Apostle Nellis at Great Millstone in the middle and down, frequently make the mention, the elect ain't entirely comprised within GMS. You got like-minded brothers that are affiliated, that are outside the camp, or we got Jake scattered in these other camps still, and they'll slowly trickle down and go follow GMS. All right, so those men, starting off with the service the prophets, the 144 down service the prophets, and the rest of the elect, they will be praised and be famous. But first and foremost, Yahushua, the apostles, and the rest of the 144,000 service the prophets, the rest of them, right? They finna be all famous men. Here it is, these highly ridiculed, mocked individuals, they finna be praised. I'm pretty sure that was about that. Before humility is riches, honor, and life. So before is the humility part. And then the result of said, role would be reaping rewards. What's it called? People be talking about, hey, you dress wearing mofos. This is a garment, by the way, it's a poncho. And besides, historically, all of us use, dress like, what we consider dresses. That's how we used to rock back in the ancient world. The Romans had their tunics, and that's the what's it called, the bugged out thing about Esau. They be talking about, let us be like Romans. When they try and dress up as Romans, all of a sudden, it's a lack of masculinity or whatever the hell, which makes no sense. But that's just again, each culture has their own form of masculinity, and some of them are going off, right? What's it called? Some of them are not. And some of them are just, over extreme, like that machismo crap. Machismo, I'm saying, that's how you pronounce it, the one in Mexico. So you can't wear pink or whatever that. Pink is really color, I like pink. Pink is my favorite color. That's a beautiful color, you got your pink roses, pink flowers, beautiful, bravo. Stuadi Alpas, shy for pink, things like that. Everything in creation. Lost my train of thought. Right, but you want to be a real man, which be a real man has been taught. You have to abide by this here thing. But yeah, with that being said, go back. What's it called? Before humility is riches, honor, and life. So we finna be the top man, right? As prophesied. So everybody that mess with the prophets, hey, a lifetime of shame. I'm gonna end it off actually in Daniel the 12th chapter. Verse 2, Daniel the 12th chapter, verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, Lord willing soon, and some the shame and everlasting contempt. Right. And even the heathen who have played a part in beating us asunder, hey, they're gonna envy us, and they're also gonna love us. Anyways, with that being said, hopefully this was a defense. The next one, this is Shalom.